Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Today we get to dive into a bottle that's been getting like some incredibly rave reviews from whiskey writers, whiskey YouTubers, different online whiskey reviewers as well. Many people calling it, the best American single malt ever made. So it's getting some pretty high praise out there, and so we're gonna test that out today. We'll see if it's gonna live up to the hype. So this is coming out of Westward, right? Pacific Northwest. We've covered a lot of Westward products on the channel before. In fact, we covered the Milestone bottle last year, thanks to one of our community members who's an avid fan of Westward, Eric. He's the one that actually provided the samples today from his now Milestone number 2, which just dropped this year. So the Milestone bottle from Westward, it's a little bit different in that it the new bottling looks great, right? It's similar in terms of like the actual label on the front of the bottle, but the shape of the bottle, it's a little bit stouter and kind of has this ornate angled look to it on the edges, which I think is pretty cool. I'll put a picture on screen so you can see it. I think that it looks fantastic this year, and it also helps it be a little bit more distinguished from their other offerings. So just by looking at it, you're like, that's a Westward bottle, but there's something different about it, right? It lets it kind of stand out and have its own unique identity, so you know it's a special bottle. So on the lineup today, we have the Milestone bottle from last year, which was really good, by the way. We reviewed it quite highly here. We have this year's Milestone bottle number 2, and then the third pour today is actually going to be their new Bottled and Bond offering of their single malt as well, which I don't know. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but last I knew, the Bottled and Bond was a club members only thing, so you have to sort of subscribe to them and be a member of their Westward Club in order to buy that bottle and have it shipped to you. So that's my understanding. That one will be the highest proof at 100 proof. Last year's Milestone bottle was a lower proof. This year's is slightly elevated from that. It's going to be 97 proof. So what they're doing with the Milestone bottles, what's happening is they're doing a solera aging process where they're like hand selecting great whiskeys from their warehouse. And what they do is they empty out a little bit from the barrel, and then they take the stuff that they think is really good and they dump that in to fill it back up. Okay? And so they let it age another year, and then they'll draw from it, and that'll be your Milestone bottle for the year. And as far as they emptied for the Milestone bottle that year, they'll then take another selection and fill the barrel back up. This is the solera process where you're drawing from it, but you're refilling it. So imagine it's kind of the same idea. Let's say that you've got a lemonade cooler out there in your front lawn as you have friends over, you've got a fire going, everyone's hanging out. You notice that the thing's getting low, the drink dispenser's getting low, so you make a fresh batch of lemonade and you pour it in on the top. So now you've got the old lemonade, which was the first batch you made, which was like 20% of, it was down, 80% had been taken, so there's only 20% left, but you put a fresh batch on top, now it's back up to 100%. So now what's in there is a mix of 2 batches, and people are going to keep drinking it. You notice it's getting low, you're going to go make up another batch of lemonade, you bring it out, you dump it on top. So now you have in there 3 different batches of lemonade, all at different varying ratios. There's an element of randomness as well, because you don't know what's getting drawn out. Is it the new stuff? Is it the old stuff? How much of the first batch is actually left? What's the ratios? So there's a little bit of randomness and chaos involved. So that's sort of the idea of the solera process. A bird just flew into my screen. I apologize if you heard that. So real quick, let's hit last year's Milestone one more time, just as a quick flyby to get a baseline so we can compare Milestone 2 from this year to this one. All right, so this was 86 proof. I said in my review of it 6 months ago, I said that it was lots of honey and biscuits. I said, what did I say? I said lavender. I got like a floral, maybe even a lavender note on it. And I said that on the palate, it almost gave me the vibes of like an American Single Malt did a collab with Redbreast Irish, because it was nice and slippery and yummy. Let's see. I think a lot of that holds true here. That Honey Nut Cheerios note and that malty barley note as well. Yeah, it's a delicious pour. But we really just wanted to use that as a baseline as we get in here on Milestone 2, which, like I said, 94 proof. So we're going up quite a bit. Nice big bump here. Now here's the thing. This is a $250 bottle of whiskey. Okay? The MSRP for this is $250. It's non-age stated, so we're assuming it's at least 4 years. So again, you have to have that conversation about value, and I've seen different people make different statements about the value of this bottle. $250 is a lot of money. I mean, there's no way around it. That's a big investment for a single bottle of whiskey. And so not carrying an impressive age statement might turn some people off just on paper. Holy cow, the nose on this is like nothing like Milestone 1. I'm getting a little bit of maple, some sandalwood. Makes me think of French Toast Crunch. Remember French Toast Crunch when we were kids? That cereal, it was probably terrible for us, but it tasted like candy. I mean, there is that signature American maltiness. There's no doubt about it. That's definitely there. But it's taken me into some territories I wasn't expecting to go to. Like, you could tell me that the barrel they made, that they aged this in, had a couple of Amberana staves in it. I would believe you, because I'm getting some of that French toastiness. But it definitely smells of sweet breakfast notes, like maple and brown sugar oatmeal, Quaker Oats or something. Beautiful nose. Let's try it. Cheers. Wow. It's like a French toast sandwich. Okay? The very beginning, first thing that hit my palate were those cinnamon and maple notes. And then after that, I get that big wave of American maltiness, that what we've come to expect from Westward's standard distillate, you know? It's like very distinctly Westward single malt, no doubt about it. But then after we get that, you know, those biscuits, honey and bread, and a little bit of milk chocolate, after that, those cinnamons and maples come right back around on the finish to sort of, it's like the framing of the sip is all French toast and breakfast cereals. There's so much cinnamon and sugar on that. Man, this tastes like I'm treating myself, right? It tastes like I'm spoiling myself with delicious junk food. Does that make sense? This is the kind of thing that, like, it makes you think, this is delicious, but there's no way it's good for me. Yeah, that really is a guilty pleasure pour. I have never had anything from Westward that tastes like that. Yeah, I'm already getting pretty low on here. Because just keep going back in for more. Okay, sheesh. I'm going to tell you right now what I think about it, okay? In terms of a score, I can't think of another American single malt I've ever had in my life that tastes as good as this. I'm just going to be real with you. And I like a number of American single malts. I still have like 5 Westward bottles on my shelf. I've got the rum finish, the Cabernet, the Pinot Noir finish, the stout finish, the cask strength single malt, their standard single malt. So I have a lot of their stuff. I have West Lind up there. I've got the Foggy Burl up there. There's a lot of American single malts on my shelf. I even still have some of that Balcones as well. I have not had one I like as much as this. This is delicious. If this was the benchmark for American single malt whiskeys, that category would absolutely explode even more than it already is. Jeez, man. If I'm going to give that a score per my scale, I have to bow to the consensus here and say I agree with the majority on this bottle. This is a 9. It's a flat 9 for me. This will go down as the 4th time in the history of my channel I've ever given something a 9 or above. It's that good. It really is. In fact, I've got another session of Beat My Bottle coming up soon that's going to be American single malts. If anybody submits this, mine loses. just throw in the towel. That's astounding. If you don't have a bottle of it, can't get a bottle of it, but you have the opportunity to buy a pour of it, you have to. I highly encourage you to do it. Best American single malt I've ever had. It feels unfair that now I'm going to move on to something else. It seems unfair to this sip now, which is the bottled and bond, right? So this is their standard distillate bottled and bond. Nose of this is giving me cocoa powder, a little bit of pound cake on the nose as well. I love a good pound cake. Some sweet cream cheese frosting and thick malt. Let's try it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, even coming off of the Milestone, that's pretty good. There's no French toast here. But I think of creamy hot chocolate in the wintertime. And there's a bit of like a sweet and savory bread note as well. Maybe like brioche. You know, brioche sort of bridges the gap between sweet and savory. That's quite good. I like that bottled and bond. I think I like the bottled and bond more than I like their standard American single malt at a lower proof. This is just carrying a little bit more weight, a little bit more of that creaminess, and I really am getting down with that hot cocoa note. Very cool. I like that. That's a 7.9 in my book. Hey, Eric, thank you so much for sharing these with me. I really appreciate your generosity. If there's one takeaway from this, it's that the Milestone bottle number 2 is, in my opinion, the best American single malt I have ever tasted. And I have, at this point, explored a lot of American single malts. Yeah. I don't think anybody's doing it like Westward's doing it. I've been firmly in that camp for a while now. I mean, there's other distilleries that have shown flashes of greatness when it comes to American single malts, but no one is consistently hitting the way Westward is consistently hitting. And so, thank you so much for watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like on the video, as that's the best free way to support the content right here on YouTube. And a big shout out to my Patreon supporters who fund the bottles that we get to pick up and review. And I couldn't have this channel without you guys. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to get involved in the stuff that we're doing, virtual bottle share, some other events, potential picks and things like that, feel free to check out the link to the Patreon below. And with that, I say cheers, my friends. May you live richly and get better with age, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.